Right, what is up, everybody? Welcome back to another video, and today is the Black Monday prediction. If you guys do not know, Black Monday is pretty much the day of it's probably the second highest not unemployment rate, but the second highest firing rate in the NFL. This time it's coaches. The highest is cut down days in the preseason, but this is the coaches day. And the biggest thing with Black Monday is a lot of people don't realize the smaller details, in the sense where Bears fans are like, oh my god, yay, Matt Nagy's fired. Yeah, but Matt Nagy's kids are going to be screwed up from it, and a lot of other things. So my whole thoughts on the coaches are, sure, you may want your coach fired, but it really affects their life in a way. um, so it's just a hard situation. It's change is good in the NFL, but not only Matt Nagy is going to be fired, but probably at least half his staff, which is probably 15, 20 people. Their lives are now going to be kind of messed up. So I would personally just say, don't hate on these coaches when they get fired. For really, I'll go to number one, the first two. But we'll start with Matt. Just don't. I would say just don't hate. Say things didn't go the way I wanted to, but thank you for being our coach, and just wish them and their family well. So I'll start out with Daryl Bevel, and I'm putting interims on this list because we'll get to that later. But with the Jacksonville Jaguars already starting their coaching search, Daryl Bevel will get an interview. I think he will get an interview. Charlie Strong will get an interview, and Joe Cullen will get an interview. The Jacksonville Jaguars this time around are, barring a Doug Peterson, Byron Leftwich, Jim Harbaugh, like guaranteed hiring, they're going to go through this process. I would put Brian Daboll in that category too, but they're going to go through this process to ensure that they can find the right guy. And it's going to, I won't say it will be as long as, that Texans coaching search last year with David Culley, but it's going to be, I don't think they're going to have their new coach right away. But Daryl Bevel will get an interview, but he's not going to be their coach. Matt Nagy, it's pretty much been known since week 5 he's not going to be coming back. It sucks for him especially. But the thing about Matt Nagy is, I think, do not be shocked if Matt Nagy gets a head coaching interview this offseason. You're going to say, wait, what? Yeah, Matt Nagy wasn't terrible. And in all honesty, if he had a second year, you got to think, sure, Mitchell Trubisky didn't go the way he wanted to, but Mitchell Trubisky, it worked. It was similar to the Jared Goff and Sean McVay scenario. They didn't have as much success, but Trubisky, it was just I don't think they clicked. But Matt Nagy is either going to be a highly touted OC, or I would not mind him going to college to be an offensive coordinator, or even the NFL. Basically, it's a 50-50. Jason La Canfora reported Vic Fangio and Mike Zimmer will end Matt Nagy too. All 3 teams are preparing for a coaching search. Bears, I 100% can say they are. I would say Vic Fangio is more likely to get fired than Mike Zimmer. The reason why I couldn't put Vic Fangio in the next tier is from the way Fangio is sounding in his interviews. So there's a weird indication he's going to be back. And at worst, he's going to be the most highly set defensive coordinator on the market. But I'm going to go top to down. David Culley, the reports are saying he's going to get another year. I think if you would have asked me 3 weeks ago, I would have said he would have been fired. I'm moving to 50-50 this time around. And for him, I just don't know what's going on with the Texans organization, because that hire was so weird that you're gonna think this sounds crazy. I would not be shocked if Josh McCown is their next head coach. It sounds so stupid and crazy, but I have a weird feeling that he has been working with the Texans, and they have been trying to mentor him to be their next head coach. There's a lot of interest between the Texans and Josh McCown. I'm not saying that's going to happen, but I would not be shocked. Next up is Mike Zimmer, and I don't think the Vikings should fire Mike Zimmer. And the reason being is that Minnesota's not a big market team, and they've been good. Like, this is going to be what? This is going to be the Vikings' worst year with Zimmer, and I think since, what year was that? Really, 20. It was a year after the Super Bowl Eagle year, I believe. Nevertheless, he's been a fine coach. I mean, I wouldn't fire him. If he does get fired, watch out for Denver with that George Payton connection. Next up is Rich Bisaccia. Bisaccia. His name is so intriguing to me. It's hard to pronounce. But, you know, if the Raiders didn't have a chance for the playoffs, he'd be gone already. They would be interviewing new guys. But if he can make the playoffs, I think if the Raiders lose on Sunday, I think he's gone. Or at worst, Doug Peterson's brought in as the head coach. Bisaccia is the associate or assistant head coach. Or Deuce Staley will be that position. But he will stay on with the organization. And next, but I think if he wins, I think if he at least wins one playoff game, it's a wrap. He's guaranteed the next coaching job. Pete Carroll, I put it in quotations because they're not going to flat out fire Pete Carroll. It'll be written how the Marvin Lewis one was written, where it was like a quote unquote mutually agreeing to part ways. I think Pete Carroll has to go to make Russell Wilson stay. Seattle has to be smart on that. I think Pete Carroll's going to go. Or I don't know. This is going to be the most questionable one because Culley, Zimmer, Bisaccia, Fangio, I could all see. Vic Fangio touched on it earlier. Reports are saying he's gone. The way he's acting, that doesn't sound like it. And when the Broncos didn't have COVID issues and they were pretty healthy, they were a good football team. More safe than not, Joe Judge. It's pretty much been a known that Joe Judge is safe. But Doug Peterson was announced safe. He was fired a week later. So I can't 100% guarantee it. Similar to Matt Rule, I'll put them in the same boat. Personally, out of those two, I would give Matt Rule another year. A lot of people have been saying bad stuff about him. Matt Rule, I think is going to be a great coach in the NFL, even though I would probably prefer him in college a little bit more. Out of these two, if Matt Rule gets fired, I would say he's probably going to he may get another chance in the NFL somewhere else, but I think he has a higher chance of succeeding. And with Joe Judge, it's a train wreck. I mean, everyone wanted Pat Shurmur gone. I probably think Pat Shurmur was a better coach for the Giants than Joe Judge right now. It's just been a disaster for the Giants. Finally, Sean Payton, in quotations as well. I could easily see a mutually agreeing to part ways / a trade to Chicago or Jacksonville for Sean Payton. Sean Payton's a good football coach. Can't deny it. It's just, does he want to go into a rebuild with the Saints? A lot of people are saying Russell Wilson. I don't see a Russell Wilson trade. I don't think it makes sense for the Saints because they have just Michael Thomas, and they don't have enough. I mean, they have Alvin Kamara and Michael Thomas, sure. I just don't think it's good enough. And the safe, Robert Saleh, he is a really liked coach, but he's going to be on a short leash next year. Brian Flores, similar. If the Dolphins don't make the playoffs next year, or it's Deshaun Watson's first year, they don't make the playoffs, he'll be safe, but still. Dan Campbell, I think Dan Campbell is going to at least get a full year of guarantees next year. I have not seen a team who has been this bad that's been this well coached. Finally, Ron Rivera. I could see a retirement from Rivera. I think it is very possible that he could retire. similar to Bruce Arians, Andy Reid, Bill Belichick, John Harbaugh, Mike Tomlin. I mean, not Mike Tomlin's younger, but you could see a lot of these big name coaches leaving. If Ron Rivera somehow gets fired from Washington, he would get a head coaching job in a snap, just like last time. But I think he's going to be safe. And that is it, everybody. Thank you guys for watching. And I will be back for coaching stuff probably next week to do my official predictions per team and go over some of the interview process. And I appreciate you guys for watching.